The months of chaos. Kartushka was seen by many, if not all, in the south as a shining representation of what could be. It had expressed repeatedly that it was a resilient station prepared to fight for economic and military prowess. Even when threatened by Hansa embargo, Red Line assaults, or Reich subterfuge, Kartushka held strong, stronger than most. Whatever your view, the station is now in complete freefall. Entire areas of the station have changed, entire districts and homes rendered to ruin. The following come from various articles, diary entries, and other various forms of media about the station. The Imperial Standard, 3rd of February 2034. Chaos befalls Southern Bastion. A long-standing ally to the kingdom suffered a fatal tragedy last month when it was made apparent that the much-adored group, the Kartushka People's Front, lost its leader, President Nikita Belensky. The leader of the party was renowned for his hard ruling of the Kartushka station, but also the vast improvements that he brought about. Under Belensky's rule, the station was able to withstand a predicted 200-man assault from the vicious Red Line, and even had its own armed forces, which often carried out victory parades and other events. The station itself might be famous for its rather sizable market, or perhaps the vast export of mushrooms from its produce farm. However, journalists at the Imperial Standard have found out some rather frightful news. Since Polensky's disappearance, the station has gone silent. No official replacement has been found, and rumors that the KPF has been completely abandoned from the inside are starting to circulate. Remaining members of the armed forces are apparently turning cutthroat and forming mercenary groups to earn quick money, giving the station a less than appealing law and order reputation. The Imperial Standard was quick to interview a few locals, and one man who refused to give his name stated the following.
Kartushka is my home, our home. Without law, without any sense of authority, we've got fucking refugees pouring in from Linevaya, and even that shithole Hansa mate.
It was clear to the journalists that tensions were running high. In tradition of the station, elections have been held, but were largely unsuccessful, with mostly very extreme party candidates being nominated, some representing the communist agenda, others trying to appeal to the KPF voter, the more traditional right-wing approach. To understand Kartushka is a very difficult concept for those of us fortunate enough to live inside the safety of the kingdom. The station is geographically situated in the deepest southern point of the metro, just before the tunnels start to become lost and turn into maintenance shafts. And whilst some might have seen this as a benefit, do not be fooled. The South is renowned for its extreme savagery. Kartushka may have been the only exception. As most will know, the notorious nemesis of the kingdom, the Horde, live for the most part in the deep southern maintenance shafts, and some people even report cults having existed. When the Imperial Standard interviewed a local priest, he had this to say.
Must have been a few months ago now, but there was this group. They lived under the station, you understand. They might have been human once, but not anymore. They prayed to this creature they called Ramen. Some call it the Beast. But to many, it was just an anomaly. The South isn't safe anymore. It has lost all of its hope, its vision. These cultists, they feasted on the flesh of their fellow man. These are indeed dark times.
The following is an extract found from a diary of a refugee in Kartushka.
4th of April, 2034. Things aren't getting any easier. We all left Linevaya with the same aim, to get to safety. Safety and security, and those big fucking steel doors at Kartushka seem to promise that. We weren't the only station to try and get a refuge at Kartushka. In fact, we was the latest to arrive. Before us, it was Chernobyl 7, then Constantinople. Hell, they've even got mercenaries hiding behind that gate. We arrived and were patted down from the local guard force, but they weren't a guard like you think. These bitches were tattooed from head to toe, carried modified rifles and stunk of guts. I don't know what happened to the station, but it's not ruled by a government or any form of leadership, just by gangs now. For me and Natasha, it was horrific. First, they took our suitcase and all of our clothing. Thankfully, I told her to layer up, so we didn't need to pack as much. So most of our winter gear was on our backs, in any case. Then, these guards asked our names, where we came from, and how long we will stay. How the fuck do I answer that? I said I'd stay until our home was safe again. But I know Linivaya's days are numbered. They then took us through this hallway. The smell was... It smelled like sewage, death, decay. Everywhere you looked, rats were piling up. There were homeless people starving in the main hall, and occasionally someone trying to sell you meat from God knows what creature. Rubbish had been piling up in mountains, entire heaps of used syringes and throwaway meals, cardboards and human shit. This was not the glorious station I'd heard of, but I tried to comfort Natasha, to tell her that it would be okay, we'd have a new life. We arrived in the main stage area, where once they would have held performances and democratic elections, but now all I saw was tents and sleeping bags. There must have been over 100 people in this area, all sleeping, eating and shitting in the same space. Men, women, children, old, young, the sick, the healthy. It have become a festering ground of refugees, worse than we could have ever imagined. The tattooed man pointed at me and my wife to some spot, roughly 2 foot wide, and said that is where we sleep. No tent or sleeping bag. He said that the church had run out a month ago. I don't know how I can go on, not even for my love, Natasha.